Welcome to Drive Time. Rob and Jenna with you. And I'll tell you what, NFL Wild Card Weekend definitely lived up to wild. Some absolutely crazy, improbable finishes. And hopefully, we'll never see a finish like the one we saw in Cincinnati again.
Just the series of events. You know, the first three quarters of this game, it was exciting. There really wasn't a whole lot going on, although you know anytime the Steelers and the Bengals play, you know it's going to be a physical football game. You know there's going to be a lot of defense. But for the most part, things didn't really get exciting until that fourth quarter there. And that's when this game just got completely out of hand. I want to say it was when Giovanni Bernard, that hit involving him, and it took him out of the game there. It was Ryan Shazier that a lot of people felt like, hey, why didn't this draw a flag? Some people said it was legal, but either way, that really, really amped up the Bengals sideline.
It really did, but the Bengals lost their minds. They should have been able to put the game on ice. They fumble on the Pittsburgh 6 with time running out. Steelers getting the ball back. Ben Roethlisberger's on the bench. It's Landry Jones. The Bengals defense
and Landry Jones threw an interception, of course. Vontaze Burfict, and running out of the stadium, into the tunnel, all the way to the lockers, thinking that the game is over.
Should have been. Should have been. But no. And a lot of it had to do with the Cincinnati Bengals absolutely losing their composure and through personal fouls helping Ben Roethlisberger, who couldn't throw the ball more than a yard when he came back onto the field, get his team into field goal position for the game winner.
One play changed it all. 30 yards worth of penalties in that one play alone. Of course, you saw what happened to Antonio Brown. I think he did throw in some theatrics there. I'm not going to say that, no, this guy wasn't injured, but you could definitely see that, you know what, as a veteran receiver like that, a guy like Vontaze Burfict, you bait him just a little bit, he's going to go nuts. He completely lost his composure. Just a very reckless play. I'm sure he's going to get suspended. I'm sure he's going to draw, of course, a fine from it. But just that play alone, and then combined with the fact that, and we still need answers on this, we still need answers as to why an assistant, a defensive assistant, was out on the field in Joey Porter. He's a guy that's been notorious for doing that, and he was provoking Bengals players. But regardless, you shouldn't be dumb enough to take that bait. If you know he's an instigator, that all the more reason why you need to stand back, not get involved.
Yeah, Pacman Jones picks up an extra 15 yards, which really makes the field goal a chip shot. Of course, we saw what can happen to chip shots in the Minnesota game.
Oh, boy.
We'll talk about that another time.
Blair Walsh.
Well, we'll talk about that another time, but the league missed one there. The officiating crew that at least should have been offsetting penalties with Joey Porter on the field. It should have been 15 yards further back, but once again, a Marvin Lewis playoff team finds a way to lose a game. Now, you can't hang this on Marvin, or can you?
I don't think you can hang it all on Marvin Lewis because you know what? The Bengals have established a culture where they're not afraid to take guys like Vontaze Burfict, who you go back and you look at the way he played at Arizona State. This guy was notorious for penalties. This guy was notorious for just going out there and being a one-man wrecking crew. So, you know what? I give them credit in the sense that the Bengals have not been afraid to go out and get guys like him. They haven't been afraid to have guys like Pacman Jones around. They felt like their locker room was strong enough to be able to overcome guys that have some character issues. But guess what? It all came crashing down on them this past weekend. I can't put it all on Marvin Lewis, though, because you know what? There are so many teams that wouldn't have even had Burfict on their draft boards. They would have just taken him off. This was an organizational decision, but as an organization, if you're going to have guys like this around, you need to be able to have the necessary support staff. Marvin Lewis, he was constantly consoling Burfict on the sideline, trying to get him focused. That should not be a head coach's job. That's an assistant coach's job. You need someone on the sideline that can just help him with that if you're adamant about keeping him around, if you're adamant about keeping guys like Pacman Jones around.
Looks like Marvin Lewis will keep his job, but the record speaks for itself. A dozen years, a lot of playoff games, still hasn't won one.